It's to 11 on BBC Sussex and BBC Surrey. So as I mentioned a moment ago, my next guest has been chosen as one of the 2012 London Olympic torchbearers for his inspiring volunteer work with disabled athletes in Sussex. 47-year-old Paul Everest from St Leonards-on-Sea is a father of three, a GB Special Olympics judo coach, and he works full-time as a paramedic for the ambulance service. But behind the busy schedule is an incredible story of courage and endurance from a man who had a very difficult start in life. He's not let it stop him, though, living a full life himself and from throwing himself into helping others. I went to meet Paul at his home in St Leonards yesterday, and first I asked him about a life-changing accident at the age of 8.
June the 6th, 1973, really hot summer's day, and it was about 11:30 in the morning, and as I say, I was playing outside in the garden. The front door was open, and all I was wearing was a pair of brown shorts and a pair of brown ankle socks. And instead of going around into the front door to get a drink like anybody else would have done, we were end of terrace council house, and we had a side passage, and I ran up the side passage, and as I got to the corner, the far corner of the house, I turned the corner as my dad unfortunately came out with a chip pan that caught fire in the house and threw it to get rid of it, and I was in the way of it.
And the two things, you and the hot burning fat, came into contact. Oh my goodness me. What were the extent of your injuries?
I had 40% burns to my face, chest, both arms, so it was quite serious.
And 40 years on, how are those now? I mean, your facial burns, actually, they're not immediately really noticeable.
No, it was, at the time, obviously, they look quite extensive when you're 8, but as you grow older and you get, in my case, fatter, and spread a little bit, then they stretch, and obviously, on the face, they're not so noticeable. My arms and my chest are a little bit more obvious. How do you view that now? I mean, it's an unbelievably odd thing to happen, and a terrible accident, but also, I mean, your dad must have felt awful about it, and all those things. Yeah, I mean, it's a totally freak accident. It's just one of those things that basically no one ever wants to happen, but unfortunately accidents do happen, and that's exactly what it was. Nothing more, nothing less. My dad's coped with it really well, because to be honest, it must have been an absolute nightmare for him. And it's one of those things that it's probably, if anything, it's probably made us closer. But that must have influenced your childhood, because you were 8 years old then, so I imagine there's a lot of operations, and also that, of course, made you look slightly different when you went to school. So how did that play out for you? Well, I have to be honest, I went to Battle and Langton School, obviously in Battle, and I had a really close-knit circle of friends, and it was as though they knew what had happened, and they sort of protected me, because I had people walk across the other side of the road as they'd walked up to me when I was younger, and it was just one of those unfortunate things that happens. But it does make you appreciate other people with disabilities when you have something like that happen. I was going to say, perhaps that's part of the reason you do the kind of things that you do these days. You're involved in so many different things. First of all, the Special Olympics, because we're, less than 25 days away from the Olympics now, and I think just make it clear for people, there's the Olympics, the Paralympics, and sometimes people get confused with the Special Olympics. So explain to people what that is. Well, basically, the Special Olympics is an organisation that runs for athletes with a learning disability mainly. However, there are a lot of guys that have got a learning disability, but have also got a physical disability as well. And I wouldn't want people put off by the fact that I haven't got it's just for people with learning disabilities. There are the physical disability aspect as well. It's charity based. It's self funds in so much as we try and get as much funding in as we possibly can to give athletes the opportunity to take part in 28 different sports. And what's your involvement? I'm fortunate to be in the position that not only am I technical advisor for Special Olympics Great Britain Judo, but I'm also the Great Britain coach for the judo team. Have you got any superstar judo competitors in your midst? Well, I mean, they're all stars in their own right. Anybody that, whether it's mainstream or additional needs guys that get on the mat. I've been fortunate that in 3 World Games I've trained 4 World Champions, 11 silver medalists, 2 bronze and a 4th place. And so in exactly 2 weeks' time,
you have a really big honour coming your way, so tell me what's happening.
Yes, I've been fortunate enough to be nominated and selected to run with the torch through Bexhill. What
will it mean to you, do you think, when that torch is in your hand and you're running your several hundred yards?
Well, hopefully. I mean, it's sort of like a pinnacle for me, really, that, you know, that I've been fortunate enough to be nominated, holding something that's going to be a world-famous event. It's in my home country, which is even better, but hopefully also it will make people look at what myself and my club are achieving. Hopefully make people look at it and go, yeah, hang on, we can do that.
And the nice thing is, you know, it's a kind of recognition of all the work you've done over the years for all the other people in a variety of things, whether it's St John Ambulance or with the judo, in a place where you've always lived. You've always lived in this area, haven't you?
Yes, that's correct.
Well, enjoy it, make the most of that time, because that'll be a very special memory to hang on to. And who'll be there to support you? And talk us through the family here, Paul.
Obviously there's going to be my wife. I've been married to for nearly 25 years, who's been a great support. As I say, she's one of the stalwarts of the club. As my son, who's just turned 18, he's going to be looking into that. I mean, we adopted him when he was 5, so that'd be really nice for him. Then I've got my 2 daughters, Amelia, who's 8, and my youngest, who's 5 and got cerebral palsy. But she knows what she wants and how to go about getting it, so she's a very, very good girl.
And of course, alongside the rest of us, Paul, on all those things, you still have to go to work as well. And once again, this theme of caring for others comes through in your work. Tell us what you do.
At the moment, I'm a clinical team leader paramedic at Hastings Ambulance Station. Basically, my company is the South East Coast Ambulance Service, and I've worked for them for 26 years.
And we've got you up from you did a night shift last night, is that right?
Yeah, it's correct. I finished at 6:30 this morning.
I bet it's changed in the last few years, but I also bet it's got great highs and great lows.
There's a serious accidents. I suppose ambulance service workers tend to have a strange sense of humour, because they tend to make sometimes light of serious things, because it's their way of coping and getting over it. But obviously they've got their colleagues to talk to. But it's the jokey way they go about things that is their sort of coping mechanism.
It's BBC Sussex and BBC Surrey with Danny Pike, 5 minutes to 11. So we're talking to Paul Everest from St Leonard's. So as we heard, a childhood accident left Paul with 40% burns. He now coaches the judo team for the British Special Olympics and will carry the Olympic torch in Bexhill 2 weeks today. Before that, though, he unwittingly stars in a home makeover show, which is due to begin any minute on Channel 4, called You Deserve This House.
I was out in the garden feeding my chickens and stuff, and my wife called in and said, "Oh, Richard and Tracy, some friends of ours, are running late. Can you answer the door when they arrive?" So this trap was set. I opened the door, and lo and behold, there was Amanda Lamb with a TV crew and the chief executive Karen Walling of Special Olympics and some friends of ours from down the road, and numerous other people. I could.
So you completely lynched on your doorstep.
Oh yes, absolutely. I must have looked like a startled rabbit, to be honest.
Well, we'll see when we watch it on the TV today.
Will.
And what? So they gave you they sent you off to for an overnight stay, and then
they sent me off to Buxted Park Hotel, which was absolutely stunning. Really lovely place. They'd asked my friends what I'm interested in, and I went clay pigeon shooting. I did some fishing the following day. They took me out for meals, and it was just absolutely fantastic. And it wasn't until I come back that I realised the house had been made over.
Can you show us? Can we have a look around?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Sure. Yeah. Okay. So under the pretense of taking you for a nice time out and filming some stuff for the website, they came and did this to your house.
Yes, they spent 36 hours. Basically, this is totally changed to what it was. It was brown and fawn before, with dark sofas, basically patterned wallpaper, and now it's tartan wallpaper and grey with some bespoke units that they've made whilst on site. Brand new table and chairs,
wooden floor and everything. Yeah. Actually, it looks really nice. I mean, well, I think it looks really nice. The trouble is, this is somebody else decorating your house. So when you came back in, did you A, really like it, and B, did you show that you really liked it? If you did.
Well, to be honest, I couldn't tell you whether how I looked. To be honest, I mean, I don't know how you're supposed to react, but I sort of came in and it was, whoa. Hang on, where's my house gone? It must have been quite comical.
I can't wait to see this on the telly now. So they did the lounge in here, lounge and dining room. And
from there we went into the conservatory. Amanda Lamb had her hand over my face and I couldn't see. There was a sort of a countdown before I went into the next room, which is the conservatory. Again, changed all the furniture, all the units, blinds.
It's really nice. It's really modern.
It's nice and airy, and it's absolutely lovely.
And did they do it out here as well,
did,
Paul?
Yes. Yeah,
so is this the final bit?
This is the final bit. They didn't took me out here. Again, eyes shut, and as you can see, they did all the bits and pieces, the planters and the decking furniture. It's absolutely lovely. I'm made up with it.
That's really nice. Well, we'll see the rest of that on the TV later on this morning. It seems to me, Paul, finally, that you give up a lot of your time for other people and you work in the caring profession. Is there any ambitions that are unfulfilled, things that you'd really like to do? I haven't got a team waiting to surprise you, by the way, to fulfil those. I'm just intrigued.
Basically, I'd just like to get more people aware of Special Olympics. I'd like more people to appreciate that there is sport out there for them, and to give it a go, really, irrelevant of their needs, because somewhere there is someone out there that will allow them to access sport.
So that's Paul Everest speaking to me at home in St Leonard's yesterday, and in 2 weeks' time today, he'll be carrying the Olympic torch through Bexhill. We'll catch up with him on the day. More Olympic business coming up after the news, because there's a